In terms of the economy, which I know all of you know is important, you have a candidate like Mitt Romney, who is, well, they call themselves supply-side economists, but that's really code word for neoliberalism. But you have these people championing Adam Smith, but this is something that Mitt Romney never quotes Adam Smith saying, where he says, quote, all for ourselves and nothing for other people, it seems, in every age of the world, to have been the vile maxim of the masters of mankind, end quote. And that is from The Wealth of Nations. So, as you probably know, Mitt Romney is in favor of a $5 trillion tax cut to the wealthiest Americans. To do this, he's going to have to cut essential social services like welfare for the poor. This is increasingly relevant. I know Stevenson students probably just read the Bible. This probably isn't in accordance with the social gospel and with the Sermons on the Mount, but don't tell Mitt Romney that. Mitt Romney also wants to get rid of things that ordinary people depend on, like Medicare and Social Security. He doesn't want to get rid of tax havens and tax loopholes, and he has utilized this by putting money in offshore accounts. Last year, Romney paid just shy of 15% of his income in taxes, even though he makes millions of dollars a year. In terms of healthcare, the benefits that I received as a young person is that I get to stay on my parents' plan until I turn 26 under Obamacare. Whether Romney is actually going to keep this in his plan, we don't know. He's changed his mind so often that I don't know. I can get free preventative services like flu shots or blood pressure checks, and health insurance companies cannot put a cap on my lifetime coverage in case I get sick, or if I'm already sick, they can't deny me coverage if I have a pre-existing condition. So in addition to this, I am also against the fact that Romney and Ryan are anti-choice. And they might say, oh, I am pro-life, but that's not true. They're pro-birth. And the way I can prove this to you is by demonstrating that Mitt Romney has would cut funding for programs like Head Start. So, thank you very much for letting me speak for 5 minutes.
My name is Max Correa. I'm very happy this year to be the president of UCSC College Democrats. And I'm very happy to work with all of you who are supporting Barack Obama to get him reelected this November. As you may know, many voters have already started voting. The absentee ballots came out last week. Many of you have probably already received your ballots. And so if you've been, maybe on the fence about whether or not you should get involved in this election, no matter who you are supporting, now is the time. It's 3 weeks until voting ends. People have already started voting, and it's imperative that we get involved now. In regards to the president, 4 years ago, I was involved in Students for Barack Obama. I was in high school. I was a sophomore at the time. All of you were in 8th grade. I remember hearing him speak up in Reno, Nevada. And Michelle Obama was there as well. It was this huge auditorium for University of Reno, or University of Nevada, Reno. And he talked about his vision for this country, and he talked about the rising cost of college education and the fact that so many people can't afford to go to college, and those who do are oftentimes straddled with loans for years and years into the future. And he also talked about the fact that up until 3 years before he was elected President of the United States, he himself had student loan debt. He did not get rid of his student loan debt until he made $1.5 million on his book, 2 years before he was elected President of the United States. That's insane. The fact that we have people here who, into their 40s and 50s can't repay their loan debt is really a tragedy of our generation, and will be for some time if we don't take care of it. What has the Obama administration done on that issue? We can look to what they did in 2010, 2 years ago. They passed a bill, signed into law by the president, that takes the middleman out of the student loan system. Private companies no longer involved in the system. We now have, eliminated that middleman, and all of the students who do take out debt are better off for it. What has he done for people who maybe don't have to take out debt, but are, benefit from Pell Grants and financial aid, double Pell Grants. I don't know about you, I'm a recipient of Pell Grants. I would have to take out debt if I did not receive that aid, and I'm very happy that so far I haven't had to take out any loans, but I may if the Republicans take control of Congress and the presidency and cut the Pell Grants as they voted to do when he wanted to double them. So, I think that this election actually presents itself as a pretty stark choice. We have the president on the one hand saying, let's expand Pell Grants, let's continue to increase the funding for students, let's keep interest rates low for, student loans. And then we have the Republicans, who are saying, one thing, they're saying, oh, we also, are for low student, interest rates, but we want to pay for it by cuts to other programs and this and that. And, if you look at the record, time and time again, they voted down increases to Pell Grants. They voted down lowering student loan rates. And the proposals on the table are really would take our country backwards and really would hurt our generation in a big way in terms of college affordability. In terms of some of the other issues, I think that, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, whatever you want to call it, has really been good for people of our generation, people, in their late teens and early 20s into their mid-20s. Why? Because we can now go on our parents' healthcare program until we're 26 years old. That is huge. Student loan debt and, the cost of education and the cost of healthcare are the two things that are rising most in this country. And the Obama administration has taken both on and acted with proposals that I think are, pragmatic, are realistic, and have really done a lot to help people our age. And I think that, this notion of, going with a different team because maybe, unemployment is still too high, and it is, and we will address that problem. But if you look at what the other side has proposed, and you look at what Obama has done, and will, is planning to do in the second term, I think we have a big choice. I urge you to get involved. I urge you to register to vote if you're not already registered. I urge you to join our club. You can find us on Facebook. You can talk to us afterwards. But I hope you get involved, no matter who you support, and I hope you remain involved, not just up until the election, but also afterwards. Thank you so much.